All right, what's up, guys? We're here. We're back. I'm Cam. This is David. We're here to recap the Big Brother All-Stars Veto episode. I'm going to be honest, I forgot what week it is, so that's why I started doing the dates in the little subtitle caption deal there.
It's been that kind of season. Been that kind of year as well.
Yeah, I've just got lost in the time. But anyway, it looks kind of dark. Why do I look so dark? My lighting never looks the same, ever. But anyway, so we'll just go ahead. Like usual, we'll get right into it. Well, actually, let me flip to the beginning. We don't want to, spoil anything.
Spoilers, right.
But, yeah, so the first thing that I noticed in this episode was Memphis's reaction to being nominated, right? So we see that definite divide, and we've talked about this so many times that when Memphis got nominated, he basically did the whole shoulder shrug and said, it's a game, it's bound to happen, I'm going to work through it, right? Whereas you see these new school people that have been nominated the whole season, and they're like, oh my God, the world's ending. I don't know what to do. Somebody help me. Woe is me, right?
Right, and it's just a tribute to the different eras of Big Brother. Memphis, we had that funny scene of him at the end of last episode saying, well, the contract is null and void now, but it's time to go to work. No surprise I'm on the block. Whereas, you see the players like Nicole A and Nicole F even and Tyler, they're all like freaking out when they get on the block. And it's just, the difference in styles, laid back, chill, like, okay, this happened. Let's see what we can do versus the new school, which is poor me. How could you do this to me? How could you play the game and put me on the block? Like, how dare you?
16 house guests that I'm not saying that we're like Memphis, guys. Keep in mind, we're talking about gameplay. We're not talking about who they are as people.
Right.
Gameplay. If we had 16 people like Memphis, this season would be one of the greatest seasons ever. Okay, you put me on the block. Now it's time. I'm going to get you. I'm coming for you now. Play time is over. Let's get to business, right? I mean,
right. The feeds, if we had 16 Memphises, would probably be the most problematic they've ever been, but the gameplay would be solid.
Yeah, I mean, and say what you want. The viewers would be there. Like, it would probably be some negative press,
Oh, yeah.
But the viewership would definitely be there. Like, that's what they need to do. That's what they need to target, guys. Listen, I'm not a casting director, but I would want people that interact the way Memphis does in the game. The direct, aim, fire. If it doesn't go your way, shrug your shoulders. Let's get to work. Those are the players that I like.
And one more note about Memphis, too, is when we were talking about at the end of last episode, that scene where on the feeds it looked like maybe Christmas and Memphis were sharing like an intimate moment. Apparently, right after that happened, he said to the cameras, oh, great, now they're writing 3 TMZ articles about me. So he kind of knows, and he doesn't care at this point. So, it's what it is.
Oh, man. You messed. You did something that you should not have done when you're looking at the camera going, there's going to be some TMZ about me here. Like, immediately, I messed up. Like, because that doesn't cross your mind. Like, if you're not doing anything wrong, you're not worried about TMZ coming after you. But I didn't see that. But that's funny. That's interesting. Like, I guess he knows he did something wrong. So, but then we kind of go through. We got Cody and Enzo. Enzo is he just can't stop laughing at the tape. Like, he's literally in the middle of the house where anybody who walks by can see him. And this dude's just giggling. And Cody goes, like, what's going on? He goes, we're the only two that on the block, man. And just saying it and, like, laughing. Like, it's just – I get it. There's only, like, 5 people in the house. But still, like, he's in the middle, not being on the block, just being braggadocious about it. And I thought that was funny. I enjoyed that as well.
Right, and it's similar to, for a Survivor example, how Dom and Wendell from Ghost Island played it, where they were very open and very cocky about their partnership, and we're kind of seeing the same, at least in this episode, about how Enzo and Cody are handling things. But, hey, they have the right to be cocky. I mean, they've played well so far, and neither of them have been on the block, but, definitely boring gameplay, but, they can laugh all they want, and they might be laughing their way to first and second. Who knows?
Yeah. And they've dictated everything that's happened. I mean, I say everything, everything that's happened in the game. They pretty much had their hands in it. I mean, Cody's won more competitions than anybody. Enzo has swayed certain things, certain nominations, certain votes by releasing information at opportune times. He's done the social game the way you're supposed to. and then Cody's done the strategic physical game the way he's supposed to. So they're kind of like a great pair. Because, Enzo, we'll get to part of that in this episode too, but Enzo can't win a competition to save his life. So he needs a guy like Cody.
Right. I mean, Enzo pulled off the prank at 2020 at the beginning of the year when he started winning all those comps, and ever since those first couple of weeks, he just hasn't been able to do anything. So, just not the best competitor Big Brother has ever seen, but his social game makes up for it. I mean, as we've seen all season, literally anyone, no matter what position they're in, has come to him and talked to them about what Enzo can do to help them. So,
and we see it in this episode. Every single person has come and talked to him. Even the HOH comes and talks to him. It's like, what should I do? Like, he's basically telling people what he wants to happen, and it just happens. And you know what? Again, not to brag or say anything about myself that I shouldn't, but I believe I said he would be doing this in the preseason. In our when we saw the cast came out, we did a video. I said Enzo's going to make it all the way because he's the greatest social player in the history of the game. Everybody laughed at me, but here we are. Here we are, David, where he's doing it.
For the record, I said Davon would be the winner, and she finished in 10th place. So there you have it.
Isn't that the highest she's finished?
That's true.
Yeah, that's the highest.
16th, 11th, and 10th. Solid.
There was an egregious thing in this episode, and tune in, guys. Stay tuned because it's ridiculous in this competition with the veto. We'll get to that, but Memphis basically he said what we said last week, right? Like, so he's on the block. He does it in his DR. He's talking with I believe it was Christmas. I didn't write down who he's talking with. I can't remember. It was Christmas. That veto is all that matters, right? Like, he's on the block. But he doesn't really care because all he has to do is win the veto, and it changes everything. And that's what we said last week. We said, really, when it comes down to these couple of weeks, you could be if you're not HOH, nothing matters but veto.
Right, and that applies to this week and then definitely next week. I mean, the veto is for Final Four is probably the most important competition in the game other than winning the final HOH because you decide who goes home if you win that. So, yeah, Memphis just has the right mindset, as we said at the beginning of the episode. It sucks that he's on the block, but all he has to do is win veto, and things are going to change for the better for him.
Right. And then we got a couple comments in here. Enzo wins against anybody besides Cody. You know what? I tend to agree with that. The only thing I could think of is Cody's played such a good game, right? Because people are so close to him. They've created genuine bonds with him, and he's cut them. Do we have that chance to where Enzo has not cut people? He's been in the shadows, had those same bonds with people to where they go, Enzo didn't cut me. Cody did. Cody played the better game, but I'm upset with him and vote for Enzo.
And that sounds very similar to what happened in season 20 with Tyler and Casey, where Tyler made all these personal bonds with people and Casey was more likable. And we all can probably agree on this, that Tyler played the better game in season 20 and he probably should have won. But if what you're saying happens to turn out towards the end of this season, then we could be looking at someone such as Enzo beating out against Cody.
Yeah. And then we've got Jason says, Nicole made a $500 mistake tonight by basically, spoiler alert, guys, spoiler alert. She won the veto and chose not to use it. So I guess Jason believes that they should have used the veto on Christmas. I don't think so. I think not using the veto is the right thing to do according to her game, where her game is. Cody's her number one. Enzo's right there with Cody. She doesn't want to risk any of that, so I think she made the right move.
She's well protected. I mean, if we don't take pregame alliances into effect, maybe that is the right move to get someone out such as Cody at this position, because that's one less roadblock to you winning the game twice. But they have this pregame alliance, and as we talked about in the last episode, their moms are really close outside of the game. They played together 6 years ago, so chances are, if Cody's in that position or if Nicole's in that position, when they get to the end and they have to pick each other, they're going to do that. So honestly, as weird as it may sound, Nicole being the only winner left in the house is very well protected at this point in the game.
She said again tonight that she's got her mindset on being the second winner ever, or the first winner to win twice. I don't think she has a chance, but she seems to think she does.
So when I heard that, first thing that came to my head was the Michael Scott gif of "Please God No," because I really, really don't want to see that happen again. To any of the Office fans out there, but I don't know. We talked about this a couple of times, but I don't know. She kind of has a fighting chance. I mean, this is obviously getting into what happens later in the episode, but if it's someone like her and Nicole and Christmas in the end, I feel like Nicole could pull it out. Nicole might get some votes against Cody, but she's got a little bit of an uphill battle. But I feel like the jury may respect bringing a winner to the end or a winner getting to the end of an all-star season. So we'll see.
Yeah. And here's Kim, guys. Kim with her weekly roast. I don't know why she says these things about Nicole, because she sends me messages all the time and posts on Facebook all the time about how much she loves Nicole. So I don't know why she does those things. That's your favorite player, Kim. But anyway, so we move on. We've got Enzo and Nicole, and this is what we're talking about, where Enzo basically he basically flows with the nominations, and just whoever's there, he makes a decision. And he's kind of telling Nicole, he's like, hey, look, I think he said Memphis, right? Yeah, he said, I think Memphis is the stronger player. I think that's where we kind of need to go. And he begins to persuade Nicole into going that direction.
Right, and this is just Enzo doing Enzo things, just using his abusing his amazing social game to a T, where he says, Memphis has played really well in all the comps he's been in, and that's going to be really tough to beat down the line if we keep him another week. So let's get Memphis out this week and keep someone like Christmas, who really has honestly struggled in the comps and is more easily manipulated.
Yeah. Oh, I skipped over something I wrote down. I wrote down Christmas legit crazy.
Oh, talking to the Ducks. Yeah.
Yeah, like, what is that? Like, people will do some weird things when they're in the house by themselves. Like, I get it. There's different things. But the weird things she does are almost like that's what she would do outside of the house. Like, she would talk to a teddy bear and then rip its arm off. Like, I just feel like that's something she would do in her own personal house. But that's just me. That could be just me.
Just don't give her a car.
Do what?
Just don't give her a car.
Oh, man. Somebody posted that on Twitter. Who was it? I think it might have been Evil Dick that posted that, saying if you could give Christmas one gift on Christmas, what would it be, or something like that? And it was like a car, an SUV, a truck, or something like that. I don't know. If you can go look at the poll and see what it is. I may have just butchered that, but it was funny and I laughed, because Evil Dick never holds back. He's always telling people exactly how he feels. But
He'll never change. Yeah. I thought that was weird too when she was talking to the Ducks, and she said to the Duck that she calls herself the Veto girl, apparently, when, as far as I know, she's only won one veto in her entire Big Brother career. But I mean, what do I know? Apparently she's really good in those competitions, and she totally has won them for herself.
She makes a lot of claims that don't necessarily add up to her game. Quite a few.
Well, and we're going to get into this, but she's a little tone deaf about what happened at the end of season 19. She thinks that she was blindsided. We'll get into that, though. But
okay, there's a rant. There's a rant coming there. There's a rant coming. But yeah. So then we go on. We move to the next thing. Goes to commercial. Comes back, and we've got Cody and Enzo sitting in the kitchen again. And my man Enzo has never seen a teapot ever.
I guess so. Yeah, 2020 just gets weirder.
And then it starts whistling, and he freaks out and goes, "Oh, yo, it whistles." Just I thought he was the smarter one of the two. Now I don't know. Now I'm not sure.
Dumb and dumber.
But yeah, how are we having these two run the game? And one doesn't know that a Texan is somebody from Texas and not an animal. The other doesn't know how to make tea out of a teapot.
Right, and they had that confusion about what an in-law means or something like in lieu laundry, that whole segment. So, these people are running the game, but Enzo loves that it whistles, and that means it's hot apparently. So that's it, yo.
And it's feminine to use a teapot, I guess. I guess he pours it with his pinky. I don't know, but he thinks it's feminine, so he's just not going to tell nobody while we're watching 24/7 as he uses the teapot. But yes, as you can tell, guys, not a lot of gameplay in this episode. So we're hitting some of these scenes that really don't affect the game, but we're here to recap the episode. So that's what we're doing for you guys.
Right. I mean, you talked about this last episode where everything's pretty much locked up at these final weeks in the game. But I just remember the worst it's ever been is in season 16 towards the end when they had to bring a dog into the house because all the house guests left were so boring. So they're like, here, have a dog, play with it for a day. So
Yeah.
hopefully we don't reach those levels, but it's getting boring.
No, there's some feelings are going to get hurt at final 3 and final 4. Like some feelings are definitely going to get hurt. Yeah. So then we got Christmas and Enzo. Christmas flat out goes, if you win Veto, will you use it on me? I don't think she phrased it exactly like that. I didn't write down exactly what she said. That's what she asked, maybe without using those exact words. And Enzo is just like, if I win the Veto, like I'll win it for me to protect myself, but he kind of danced around it, didn't he?
He danced around it, and basically the short answer was no. All that he basically said was when she asked him straight up if he's going to use it, if he wins, he just said, yo, I'm going to try and win the Veto, yo. That's it, yo. But he never said if he was going to use it or not. So that's pretty much Enzo saying no, but he's going to win the Veto to keep himself off the block.
And then she does this again. I think she did this once before, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, where she makes a pitch to get somebody out, but the person she talks to is their number one ally. So, like, she goes, I think we should get Cody out. Cody is who needs to go. And Enzo's like, oh, really? Really? I'm like, this is the second time you've done this, Christmas. Like, that's his number one.
Right, and the whole hilarious wise guys dynamic came into play again, where Christmas is wanting to keep this final 3 of her, Enzo, and Memphis intact. So she wants Enzo to honor this wise guys, but what she doesn't realize is her and Memphis are the only 2 who feel passionately about the wise guys, and they're the 2 who are on the block. Enzo and Cody couldn't care less about it.
Right. And then she says, Christmas goes, I'm gonna go cook some zucchini. Like, she's gonna feed everybody this delicious zucchini. And she walks out, and so goes, yo, that zucchini was nasty the other night, yo. he goes, but I'm not gonna tell her that.
Right. And then Nicole just starts laughing, and he's like, usually it's good, yo, but just last night it was awful. And then they cut to like vegetables or whatever on the tray, and yeah, just Enzo stealing another scene.
He said, that zucchini was nasty. I'm sorry. I cracked up so hard when he said that, because it's like he was being genuine and like didn't want to hurt her feelings by telling her that, but just the way he phrased it was like he's afraid, because like she's kind of, a little bit crazy. But yeah, you're chopping them up. It was funny. But yeah, so Nicole and Enzo kind of talk, and basically what they did is Nicole and or Enzo basically told Nicole, hey, this is what Christmas is trying to do. She's trying to target Cody, and Nicole basically flat out says, if I'm not mistaken, I think I might have wrote this down wrong. Nicole basically says, well, that's not going to happen. Is that right?
Basically, Enzo is saying how he's more wary of Christmas based on the recent conversations, and he's thinking about switching the target to her instead of Memphis. And that maybe it's not a bad idea. They get Christmas out this week. And Nicole is just kind of like doing her thing, Up front, she's like, okay, I'll consider it. But then we cut to a DR of her saying, like, yeah, no, that's not happening. Memphis is going home this week. So she's dead set on Memphis, where Enzo is more scared about what Christmas could do if she gets power.
Right.
And one thing that actually happened before that was we had a DR right after Christmas was telling Enzo that they need to get out Cody. Enzo laughed in the DR, and he's like, you're trying to get out my number one? You're going to be looking like a dodo at the end of the week. And I think that could be foreshadowing that what happens to Enzo at the end of the season. I don't know. I hate to say it, but I feel like we could be seeing another third-place finish for Enzo, so he could be looking like that.
Don't do that. I hate that. I don't want to see that. I want to see my man get at least $50,000 out of this. But
right. When he got eliminated last time, I think his interview right after he got eliminated with Julie, she's like, how do you feel? He's like, Julie, yo, I didn't get any money out of this thing, yo. It was a wasted summer, yo.
All right, so we're about halfway through the episode, so I just want to take a second, guys. If you're watching this video right now, please do us a favor. Click the like button. Comment below. Do everything you can. You can help us out. It helps the show out, helps the page out, and it helps Russell Hance out. We appreciate all the likes. You guys do so good with it. Thank you. The comments after the lives end, we interact with you guys all the time. Unfortunately, this last episode, I got a little bit busy. Wasn't able to interact with you guys. I do apologize, but please do leave comments when this is over with. I go in and I look at them all week, and I comment back. We do have a few things going on. We've got a gaming page that's pretty awesome. Have you been watching the Survivor game that we have?
I saw one of the episodes, yeah.
So we have our second season of the Survivor Org game going, and it's pretty awesome, guys. You can go over right now to TRHS Gaming, I believe, online gaming. It's one of the two. We have a Survivor game going on right now, and let me tell you, it's intense. One person got blindsided tonight, and you could see after each vote was read, his face turned more and more red and more red, and it was a good blindside. And they're coming after each other. They're calling people names. They're attacking people. It's great. We love it. And it's something we're going to continue to do. I believe we have a Big Brother game coming up as well. In order to participate to these things, guys, just join the Patreon page. It's as little as $5 a month, and you can join and play these games with us. It's great. It's fun. It's awesome. If you don't want to play, you just want to watch, subscribe to the channel. We post every day. We're posting episodes, and then we do a recap live, which right after this, I believe they're doing one. They're doing a live recap of the Survivor game, and then we have a new show. I know it's long-winded, guys. We got a lot going on, David. We got a lot going on the page, man.
Oh, yeah.
A ton. We got stuff everywhere, all the time. If you guys are Bachelor fans, we do have a new Bachelor recap show that started yesterday. They'll do it every week after the episode airs. We've got Denny, Rob, and Lauren Pratt doing the recap. They're awesome. Go back and check that out, guys. Funny stuff. They call it how it is. All right, now back to the Big Brother episode. The next thing we've got Christmas, and we've got Nicole talking again, and I'm so tired of hearing about this final two with Christmas and Nicole. Neither of them. All right, I intend on doing a final two. This is the fourth time we've had this conversation about Nicole, and it's always when one of them's back's against the wall. It's never when they're both safe and they say, "Hey, let's work together." It's a fake conversation, right?
It's more one-sided. Christmas, at least based on this episode, seems genuine about it, where she trusts Nicole in saying that Nicole doesn't want her to leave this week. So she feels like it could be a toss-up if those two are in the end. And Nicole kind of agrees with that because she realizes that there's people that they both made angry in jury, so it wouldn't be the end of the world to sit next to Christmas. But, I mean, we all know that her number one is Cody, and they're both dead set on going to the end with each other. So it's kind of genuine, but at the same time, even if it were to happen, the chances of it statistically happening are probably really, really low. So, I don't think it'll be a possibility.
Right. And then in this conversation, this is where I get a little bit upset. This is where we have Christmas complaining about not wanting to be third place again because of the guys. Listen, you did that to yourself in the first season you played. This is a decision you made to work with the guys. It's a decision you made this season to work with the guys, and you shouldn't even have been third place. You should have been, they're 16. Should have been 12th or 13th.
I mean, she could have even gone home that first week instead of Jillian. That was a crazy first week in season 19, so if she doesn't break her foot, she's probably getting the boot.
Right. Getting the boot, good. Yeah, so when I heard her say this, and then she's getting all emotional about it, she doesn't want to take third place again. I'm like, come on. You shouldn't even have been. You should be happy that you got third place and got the money third place gets because it shouldn't have happened. And
she shouldn't be back for this season. We've talked about it a lot, like a lot of other people. She's not an all-star, and I just have to cringe because she was saying how Josh blindsided her and she thought he was going to take him to the end the whole time, and she was blindsided when Josh took Paul. When in one of the episodes towards the end of that season, she says to Josh, "I can't guarantee final two to you right now, even though Josh says, I want to go to the end with you." So she sealed her own fate there, and I don't really understand why this is a shock to her that she didn't get taken in the end, or she still seems kind of bitter about it 3 years later, but she did it to herself.
Yeah, I completely agree. So enough of that talking about Christmas. Now let's talk to something that's more interesting, more fun, and more competitive in the game. We're going to talk about that cow balloon. What is that? What is that cow thing that Tyler? Mulan. So I guess Mulan's got a new daddy in Enzo. Sitting next to the bed, he talks to Mulan. My question is what was he looking at in those photos? What was that?
Yeah.
Do you know?
I'm not sure. No, I don't know either.
That were like that thick. And he was just sorting through them. I don't know if they were family photos or what they were, but he had quite a few of them. And I don't know if maybe they get photos from home. Is that from his HOH? Because that's a lot of photos from when he won HOH way back then.
Right. Yeah, it might have been like family photos or something.
He was just checking them out. I was like, wow, you guys get a lot of photos. Like, I always thought they got like maybe 3 photos, but he looked like he had like 12 to 15 just stacked up on his nightstand there.
Right.
That's what I noticed. But anyway, so he's sitting there talking to Ulan, begging for a comp win. He says he needs a win.
He's finally trying to win a comp.
It's dire straits, man. When you're looking at a cow, what do you even call that? A blow-up cow? When you're looking at a blow-up cow just begging for help.
And it's inflatable animals are a theme in this episode. We had Christmas talking to the rubber ducky, and now Enzo talking to Mulan. I mean, it's getting to that point in the game. It was, day 69 or whatever Cody said. They're getting crazy in there, but yeah, it's a pleasant sight to see where Enzo actually wants to try and win a comp at this point in the game. Good job, Enzo. You're finally actually trying in the comps again.
So we finally got through all the nonsense. We're actually to something that's gameplay related now, guys. So we're at the veto competition. And basically what this is, and if you're a Big Brother fan, you know what this is. This is the Big Brother comics. This is where they take every player in the game and they give them a comic book character. And what you have to do is slide by a window on a little is it a hand glider or a zip line or?
It's like a hand glider on a zip line or whatever.
Yeah, so you got to slide by and see all of them in order and the correct ones. They have 2 of each character, and you have to pick the correct one. I would be somewhat terrible at this. I would just be bad. I don't have attention to detail like that. I couldn't do this competition.
Oh, so you're the opposite of Enzo, because Enzo apparently has great attention to detail.
Yeah, let's get to his strategy when we get to him too, by the way. But Cody's first. We don't really see a lot about Cody in this competition. He basically just does his thing and then hits the buzzer. There's not a whole lot going on, but he goes first.
He hates Kaiser for some reason.
Do what?
He hates Kaiser for some reason. He was saying, like, what is Kaiser the king of? King of not making the jury?
Yeah, I have all those written down, and I was going to go through those too. I don't have all of them. I think I have 9 of them written down. But Enzo goes second, and let me just preface this. So there's 16 house guests. So that means there's 32 comic book characters that you have to get right. You have to get all 16 right. He thinks that he can honestly randomly pick and have a chance to just hit the buzzer and be right. I mean, Enzo, come on, man. Like, come on. At least make a trip through and try.
And this is his winning strategy, apparently. I mean, it was just like, I think the last comp where he hit the buzzer and so many of them were wrong. It's just like, he's awful. I'm getting flashbacks to James Hewling at the end of BB-18. He's doing horrible.
He got 2 right. 2.
Right.
In the first round. It's like, Enzo, come on, man. And he just didn't. I couldn't believe that when I saw that. I was like, take your time, man. Check it. Like, you need this competition, and you're trying to randomly just, like, click and get lucky. But anyway.
And he's spending, I mean, I don't know if this is just editing, but he's spending so much time like, oh, yo, this comic looks cool, yo. And so you have a competition to win.
Yeah. Hey, Tina. I can't read that. Not Tina. Tim Sweeney. I don't have my glasses on. You guys never see me with my glasses, but I can't read if I don't have my glasses on. But Tim Sweeney says, hi, Russell. Russell watches this. He appreciates it. Like the video. He appreciates that more, too. But anyway, so Christmas is next. Good God, Christmas.
The Veto Queen.
The Veto Queen. She won't let go. Like, she goes through, she sees the comics, and she refuses to let go. You're like 5 feet in the air, and there's a pad on the ground. Just drop.
She won't let go, and because she didn't let go, she ends up gliding in the other direction again. So she's just so scared of falling 5 feet down, and it's just costing her. Like, Christmas, this could be do or die.
Yes.
A $500,000 veto competition, and you're screwing around on a zip line. It's like, good God.
That could be 30 feet in the air with no padding. If my game's on the line, I'm dropping onto concrete. Listen, if I break my ankle, I know I still get to play because you did it. But, I mean, my back's against the wall. Like, what do you do is hang in there afraid. You're afraid of $500,000? Is that what you're afraid of? Like, I'm like, come on. Like,
yeah, like I could be falling from the green monster. I don't care. $500,000, I'll take it.
Right. And then Memphis is next. And I have written down, I don't remember why. Maybe you can remind me. For some reason, I missed the second note here. I have written down Memphis. Boy, is he an ass. What did he say? I forgot.
Oh, he said he roasted Davon's comic where Davon Daydream, I think it was something like that, and he's like, I don't really get her comic. She must have been daydreaming about getting to the end, which obviously didn't even come close to happening. I'm like, well, Memphis.
Yeah, if you're watching this in the chat, what I want you to do, I want you to put the most egregious character for the comic books, the one that just made the least amount of sense. All right, that's what I want you guys to do. Let us know, because I'm going to get to the one that I was annoyed at completely when I saw it. And you know what? It's probably going to hurt some of your guys' feelings, but it is what it is. So the last one to go was Nicole. And she's going to have a hard time when she gets out of this house, because the first thing she said, right, is, I know my comic's going to be bad. I just need to deal with it. You have no idea what's coming, Nicole. Like, you have I don't hate on the girl, but she's going to have a rough time when she gets out of this house.
Yeah, and if she ends up winning, it's like, yeah, I won, but at what cost? Because once she gets out of that house, the game shuts off and real life continues, and she might be in for a rude awakening. It's going to be tough for her.
Man, and I'm not saying that's okay. I don't condone that kind of behavior, when they're out of the house and just ripping them like that. But, man, there's some people that are just going to shred her.
That's what happened to Raven from season 19, who, when she lied about like all the, I don't want to say lied, but she claimed she had all these diseases and stuff.
She lied. I'll say it. She lied. You can't possibly have that many.
Inverted knee or inverted spine, whatever she said. Anyways, she got so much hate right after she got out of the house. She had to disable like all her comments and stuff. So it's going to be tough. The current climate of BB fans is very ruthless.
So and then after Nicole says basically that she has to just power through it. She knows her comic's not going to be good. The first thing she does is she goes back to week 1 and she complains that Janelle's looks so good and hers looks so bad. And why does Janelle always have to look so cute? And why does she always have to look so terrible? And I'm just like, listen, like, read between the lines, Nicole. Like, I mean, the comics are funny, but they're also got some truth to them sometimes, But
it's a tribute to the way they play. I mean, Nicole, everyone on Reddit and people in the Big Brother fandom, they call her Rat Cole, Snake Call. So obviously her comics are going to be perceived as more villainous, where, Janelle honestly isn't a sweetheart in the Big Brother house. We all love her because of how unfiltered she is, but, that's exactly why she gets the comics that she gets, where it's perceiving her as a goddess.
That's something that I don't think we've touched this before, but that's something that Nicole could really learn. Like, I understand Nicole probably won't ever play the game again after this. She's done. Yeah, she's gonna have a rough time out of the house. I don't think she's gonna want to put herself in that position again. She could have learned from Janelle when she first played, because when Janelle first played in BB6, she was not beloved. There was a very distinct dividing line with her. People either loved her or hated Janelle. And then in BB7, Janelle owned her game and started basically saying, I'm here to crush dreams. Then she came back in 14 and was talking crap about everybody and how great she was. Then she comes back here and she's just unfiltered. If Nicole would do that, if Nicole would in her game own it, they'd respect her in the same aspect that they respect Janelle in the game.
Absolutely, right. And we talked about this all season. It's like beating a dead horse at this point, but she tries to be villainous at some points, but still expects to be seen as a hero, and vice versa. It's getting old, Nicole. Come on. This is your third time.
yeah, it's your third time. But anyway, she's gonna run. She had the Zing bot got her. Now the comic books got her. And then if she gets to the final 2 and they don't vote for her, and it's gonna be a train wreck, man.
Do you think she'd really let that get to her, though? Like, having the chance to become the first 2-time winner and not getting the votes in the end?
100%. 100%. It would eat her alive. It would me too, though. Like, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Like, it would eat her alive. It should.
Do you think Dan's bitter about what happened in season 14?
I think it took him a minute to get over it. I really do. Because I believe Dan thought he had it wrapped up. Because Dan comes from the gameplay perspective where he literally came from the dead. Like, he was done. And he found a way to get back and get into the final two. I think he thought he put his mark on the game and he couldn't lose. But Ian, everybody liked Ian too much, and he had to lie. I mean, Dan had to lie quite a bit. So I think that's what happened. But I think it probably hurt Dan a lot because Dan's super competitive. So, and Will in All Stars, he's a quarter inch away from being the 2-time winner. A quarter inch. He needed to get that disc off, or he needed that rope for the disc to touch the button, and he wins again. And that probably crushed him. But yeah, they're competitive people.
The prime example being Paul. He's probably traumatized from losing by 1 vote 2 times. I mean,
yeah, but I enjoy watching that video every time I can when Cody stands up to make that vote and put that key in the box. And Paul knows it's for Josh. Or not when he puts it in. I'm sorry, when the key's coming out, when he's getting the key out, and he knows that it's for Josh when it's a tie vote. he just crumbles and cries, and he deserved every single bit of that from that season.
We could be seeing something similar this season. Ian's the deciding vote. If Ian casts the vote to prevent Nicole from becoming the 2-time winner. Uh-oh.
Yeah. Yeah, so the way the veto worked out was Cody got 16 minutes and 8 seconds. Enzo got 28 minutes. Christmas got 27 minutes. Memphis got 32 minutes. And Nicole, shockingly, I saw that number. I was like, yes. She got 11 minutes and 21 seconds and just crushed the field.
Typical Nicole going on somewhat of a late season comp run. That's what she did 4 years ago. So she actually won BB Comics in 18 too. So
that's competition. I mean, 11 minutes that's fast.
Right. Honestly,
that's real fast. And I just put a note here as well. Christmas told us last time we watched on Monday when we watched that she thrives under pressure when she got nominated. I don't see thriving at 27 minutes and 45 seconds. That doesn't look like she thrives.
And then we cut to the traditional Christmas DR after she loses a comp where she feels defeated and she beats herself up over it. And
then she says, but I'm strong and I come back harder than ever, or I come back stronger. Not seeing it. Christmas, I just have not seen it. So we'll get to the BB comic that was the most egregious. Which one to you was the most egregious?
I'm struggling to remember some of them, but from the ones...
I'll give you the ones that I wrote down. We have the Podmaster, which was Nicole A. We have the Meow Meow, which was Enzo, David, and Goliath, David. Birthday Girl Keisha. We had King Kaser. We had Abra Curl Dabra, Tyler, Miss Claus, which was Christmas. And then we had the Regulators with Danny. That's what I have written down.
Okay, that was the name for Alliance in 13, right?
No, that was the Alliance. That was named Alliance. 13 with Dom. Yeah, Dom and some other people.
That's right. Yeah, that's okay. That's a throwback.
So, which one's the most egregious for you think?
Probably the Danny one, I guess. I don't know that one.
The Regulators. Okay.
Maybe. I don't know.
Let me tell you what mine is.
Okay.
What the hell has Kaser done to be King Kaser?
That's what I've seen that comment too around. As much as Cody seemed like a jerk for saying that. What is he the king of? King of finishing pre-jury? I mean,
he's never made the jury. He's played 3 times and been voted out 4 times.
Twice on his birthday. On his daughter's birthday.
I get it if you guys like him. He's a super good guy. I'm not debating that. But in the Big Brother game, he's not king of anything.
He's the king of coming out of the gate super hard and paying for it by leaving before jury. I mean, Kaser stands don't want to hear that, and I love the guy as much as the next person. But
the page that we actually represent is Russell Hantz, who calls himself the king of Survivor. And you know what? However you feel about that, that's fine. he had a legitimate claim to that. He's admitted that Tony is now the king of Survivor. But at the time, he had a legitimate claim to being the king of Survivor. He was making moves nobody else was making. Kaiser doesn't have that. And Big Brother, he doesn't have it.
The greatest 78-day run in Survivor history, in my opinion. Back-to-back seasons.
Oh, absolutely. But this is a Big Brother show, so we'll get back on to Big Brother.
Right.
But Kaiser doesn't have that resume. Not even close. So the comic to make him King Kaiser is misleading and false.
I mean, he has one of the best quotes ever in Big Brother history. When I forget who he was talking to in season 6, but they're saying to him, like, Kaiser, you sealed my fate, and he's like, no, I sealed your partner's fate. Like, that's just an epic line. But other than that, he hasn't really done much.
Yeah. So Nicole ends up winning the veto. In fact, our chat actually told us that last week. Said Nicole does these little runs and she'll win the competition, she'll win out. I can't remember who it was. If I did, I'd shout you out, but unfortunately I don't remember who it was. Said Nicole's going to win HOH veto. This is what she does. So after the veto's won, we've got Memphis talking to Christmas, and Memphis is shirtless and has nasty back hair. I could not see that.
I didn't notice until now he's got a tattoo on his side as well, but
yeah. I was like, come on, man, you own restaurants. I know you got money to get that fixed. That's a problem.
He's a mixologist, according to him.
And Cody's basically saying that when they pan to another scene, Cody's basically saying he's got a final two with everybody, literally everybody except Christmas. So, which is true. And so he basically wants Christmas to go. So there's a real shift in the house right now. Like, people don't really know. They're like, veto hasn't been used yet. We're planning ahead. Do we want to get rid of Christmas or we want to get rid of Memphis? It's almost split right down the middle. We don't really know currently.
Right. I mean, Nicole wants Memphis, and Cody's kind of, at least at the moment, leaning towards Christmas. So, I mean, as Cody said at the end of the episode, Nicole may be HOH, but it's really going to come down to Cody and Enzo and who they decide, because they're the two votes.
Do you watch Australian Survivor?
I've never seen it, actually.
All right. Well, this doesn't really spoil anything, but Dragon Monkey, you are correct. If you're taking every single season of Survivor that's ever been played worldwide, David, the Golden God, is the greatest player.
You. I'm kidding.
Yeah, yeah. He calls himself the Golden God, and in one season, at one point, he had the individual immunity, and he had 2 hidden immunity idols, and they're like little rubies. And he's basically saying he feels like he's an Avenger, and they're lasers. He's like, shroom.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and yeah. There was. I don't want to. I think you should watch it. I don't want to ruin too much if you guys haven't seen it. This is a Big Brother show, but if you haven't watched Australian Survivor, watch the seasons he was on. Amazing gameplay, amazing. But anyway, so we go to Christmas and Nicole, and Christmas does the normal Christmas thing with no social game whatsoever, and demands a promise to stay safe. Like, what? She said, "I need a promise, and I need it now." That I'm getting.
Nicole, who does she think she is to think that Nicole's in any position to have to guarantee her a promise? Like, I'm HOH. If anything, you should be trying to make deals with me, not the other way around. And it's just, God, Christmas. Like, you think she would have learned something from making it to the end of not only 1 but 2 seasons, and it's getting a little ridiculous.
Yeah, she's been dragged to one of them, but anyway. So Nicole, spoiler alert, Nicole chooses not to use the veto. So either Christmas or Memphis is going home. Likely Christmas is likely going home. That's what I would think, right? Would you agree with that?
I don't know. I mean, look, there's a lot of time between. I mean, the episodes make it seem like it's all close together, but by the time the veto is played and the eviction happens, there's a few days, so what can happen? Based on this episode and what we've seen, I would lean more towards Christmas staying, but I feel like Cody and Enzo are gonna, come around and say we can't beat Memphis in the end, or we can't keep Memphis another week because of how well he's done in these comps. So I would hope they get out Memphis. I feel like that'd be better for his game. I hope Memphis stays, but if we're going based off what happened in tonight's episode, it looks like Christmas is going.
I would think so, yeah. Unless something crazy happens. I did see. I don't know, and I don't want anybody to spoil anything for us. Which at this point, I don't think you can spoil anything. There's nothing that's happened yet, right?
Right.
Okay, so anyway, I did see there's a link where it said Enzo's considering flipping. So I'm assuming that means voting out Christmas instead of Memphis, correct? Because he wants Memphis out.
He wants Memphis out. Cody, again, based on what we saw, is looking towards Christmas. So that would just basically force a tie and force Nicole to make the decision. But
that's what they should do.
Nicole is just going to vote out Memphis. So, if Enzo wants to make a big move, it'd be hilarious if the one time he tries to make a big move, it backfires on him.
Yeah, for sure. We got a few minutes here. Let's see any questions we got in here. We're doing a Big Brother show, but I guess we can go ahead and do this. What's your favorite season of American Survivor? What's your favorite, David?
Okay, let's see. Out of all the seasons I've seen, okay. Okay, hold on. There's a lot. I'll let you take this one. Give me a second to think about it.
All right. Mine is Big Brother All Stars. Yeah, that's my favorite one. No, Survivor All Stars. That's my favorite, only because as a kid, it had a lot of the players that I thought were huge characters. Back when I was younger, I was a big Boston Rob fan. Had Big Tom on there. Had Richard Hatch. It had all the players. So that's my favorite. It's not I don't think it's the best season, but it's my favorite. But anyway, so that's Survivor though. So
I'll give my answer. So okay, the season that got me like into super fan stardom of Survivor was probably Millennials versus Gen X. That's not obviously the best season, like you were just saying with All Stars, but I liked it. It was fun.
About the connection you make with certain players when you watch them.
Then Edge of Extinction, season 38. I know a lot of people are going to be hating me for this, but I just honestly thought it was a funny season with Reem going out first for leaving everyone's clothes out to dry in the sand, and they use that as a reason to vote her out. I thought that try was hilarious. So it was a funny season to me, even though Chris Underwood, spoiler alert, winning the season after getting voted out third is the worst thing that ever happened in Survivor. But, it was fun to watch.
Yeah. So, but that's it for the episode, guys. Just a couple more things. If you weren't listening before, please like the video. Helps the page, helps us, helps Russell Hantz. If you'd like, tune in to the Russell Hantz or TRHS online gaming. We got a Survivor game going on. You guys tune in, root for players there. Good blindsides, awesome blindsides. Had one tonight that was freaking awesome. Sorry. I'm not trying to be rude to the person that got blindsided, but it was a good blindside. We have on Mondays. What's today?
Wednesday.
On Tuesdays, we have the Bachelor recaps. Mondays, Wednesdays, we do the Big Brother recaps. Russell does Thursdays, Surviving Big Brother. We have the realities. Those girls, they do an awesome job. They cover the live feeds every day at noon. They go over what's happening, tweets of the day, all that kind of stuff. And then we have Amazing Race. As soon as I get started, it premiere tonight. I don't know if they have an episode tonight, but I know we're doing a recap episode on it. So when that airs, be sure, guys, to get all of these videos, recaps, like the videos, subscribe to the channels, comment at the end of the videos. We interact with all of you guys, and come join the page so you can participate in things like the online games. We will be back on Sunday or on Monday.
Mondays now. Yeah.
Monday, and discuss the eviction and HOH and nominations. You guys take care, and we will see you then.
All right.